Status update February, end of February 2025. So yeah, this status update kind of builds a lot on the past status update. This November 2024 status update. And in it, I talk basically about how I am in this German course that is like kind of like the most recent development, how I got accepted, and a couple of months have gone by and we switched teachers, and now I'm still there in this German course, and I am now fully in this path because there were some doubts, because there were a couple of medical tests that were pending, etc., etc. So yeah, I am now fully in and also nearing the end of it. I have my B2 test next Friday, so in like 5 days. And yeah, the main events that happened, I guess, since November have been the New Year, obviously, kind of Christmas, New Year, etc. Then, end of January, I went on a trip to Munich, and yeah, the routine was mostly German class. And yeah, starting with the New Year's resolutions, I've made a couple of videos here about them. This video about my New Year's resolutions in 2 minutes has also the resolutions written here. And yeah, basically the resolutions were like having physical activity, reading, writing, etc. And I've kept up with them. Not really. I'm not on track for writing my 100 journal entries. I'm like several of them. Yeah, like if I start having more rhythm, obviously if I do one daily, I still have more like 100 days until the end of 2025. But if I wanted to keep the pace that I had before, I couldn't finish, right? Make at least 10 YouTube videos. I'm not sure how on track I'm on this, but for example, I haven't been really checking the places list, although I do think that I have the energy and I'm adding places to the Munich list, and I'm seeing more or less places that are kind of close to Munich and all of this. Also in class we touch on those things as well. So yeah, in that sense I'm not fully following my resolution, but I am kind of close to it. Physical activity, there has been a week of pause because I went to Munich and there I did had physical activity. For example, I didn't run, but we walked so much that I couldn't, but yeah, that I considered it physical activity. But the week after I got kind of more or less sick, not fully, not go to class sick, but I did get not run sick. So yeah. And money, I haven't made money online yet, and also, but at least I am keeping my studies. I am keeping pace with my studies, and I'm doing good in that sense, and also kind of not entirely by luck, etc., and by that, but I am more or less keeping up with vocabulary, etc. Not to the extent that I could dream of, but yeah, to a satisfactory enough extent. So yeah, we'll see how this develops over the year, but yeah, those are more or less my resolutions, and this is why I didn't make like a New Year's a January update, for example, because I made these resolutions videos. Then the highlight, I would say, of this of this period from November to here is the trip to Munich. I think that was obviously for me the highlight, and I made a stream about it the day after where I talked a little bit about it. So yeah, you can watch it here if you want by typing Munich on my channel here. You can see, and also yeah, it's basically this video. No comments, but yeah, Hania was in chat there. We talked a little bit about, yes, I think I showed a couple of pictures of what I'd seen, not a lot, but yeah, some pictures. It was interesting. It was a nice trip. You can see this video if you want more details. But yeah, I could say that as a quick sum up, it was an interesting trip, and it had like a couple of contradictory effects, you could say. On the one hand, it made me want more to go there, right? It brought like it. I feel myself comfortable in that city. Like I know how to navigate it, I guess, and it's like still new enough to me that it's interesting. But also it has that element of like familiarity and nostalgia that makes me want to go back. and yeah, I am excited for going back there. But also, I kind of felt that there were some tensions. For example, like being all the time with the same group of people is a little bit, it has its downsides, and the ways that different people deal with that don't sit entirely right with me. Also, the environment of like the being at work and like dealing with these kind of technically superior people above you is a little bit of tension inducing. So yeah, there are also things that kind of are a little bit tense, I would say, right? That tense me up. Not that are tense in general outside, but that do tense me up. But yeah, that's, I guess, the sum up. Then I guess a thing that I wanted to add that has been a little bit of part of this new year is a book club. This book club by VGR, who has this contraptionist history book club. He changed his newsletter from being about topics in general to a more specifically contraptions oriented thinking and thinking in those terms, and he wants to bring this thinking also to history. So he's doing some history book club, and I thought it was interesting. I joined, I read. I haven't finished yet this book. I'm like a little bit further away than half, but I did find the book interesting. It's about Venice, and I have started this video about horses and like about the steppe, Central Asia, etc. So I'm excited about this, about these topics that are going to be covered in this book club. And yeah, I'm not fully satisfied with my performance, by the way, because I haven't finished the book in the period of time where I should have finished it. I have participated in the discussions a little bit, but I'm not sure if enough for me to get gifted the subscriptions that he promises. We'll see. Same with this book. I've started it way too late, and also the people seem to be like early. So yeah, I don't like that contrast. I'm focusing more on German right now. So if I have some free time, I usually just use it to watch some German videos, etc., rather than this, or just to watch videos in general. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, now let's go on to the next part of these status updates, which are answering some questions that I saw on some video and that I kept kind of the tradition. So yeah, let's go. First question: how do you feel about your money situation right now? Similar to the past update, better than before I had this German class going, obviously, because that was zero money and it was like actually a cause of stress and of feeling bad, but which I'm grateful for. But still, it is low-key pretty tight because it's only 800 euros per month. And yeah, as you can see, that's not like, even living with my parents, I spend on random shit. I have gotten to get flights there. I haven't gotten my suitcases yet. I think my dad is going to pay for those if I recall correctly, but I don't know, because I may get pretty expensive ones and I might lie and tell them they are less expensive than they are. So I don't, but yeah, we'll see. And yeah, like these kind of expenses come up all the time, and also I kind of expend carelessly. For example, eating out, I don't really think about how much I should spend. I haven't budgeted, for example, my eating out budget. Or for clothes, for example, I still spend kind of carelessly, not as much as before, but still somewhat. And yeah, for some reason, money keeps disappearing from my account. I don't know. Not saving up for long-term objectives yet. Also, this is kind of a little bit worrying because I am not saving up for long-term, but for medium-term objectives. You could say, for example, getting a new laptop or getting the PS5 when GTA 6 comes out is this autumn, which is closer than I think, right? And I'm still kind of spending every like quite short term. Next question: how do you feel about your job, employment situation / daily activities right now? And I would say that in my job / employment, aka my German course, the vibe has soured a little bit. It had already soured before, and I mentioned it with the change of teacher, and now I feel like it has soured a little bit more. And I feel like even that is being euphemistic. I feel like it has soured a lot, maybe. because, for example, me personally, when I pause, I can still bring myself to feel kind of that gratefulness about being paid to learn. But day to day, right, on the day to day, when I'm in class, etc., the conversations people have are always like of desperation, of exasperation, of feeling of being fed up with the way the course is structured, etc., right? And with the way they are not progressing. And I could understand that, for example, if I am acing my tests and I don't give a fuck, right, it's like, fuck it, I'm getting paid and I'm acing my tests. That's awesome. But if you are, even if you are getting paid, if you are not acing your tests and stuff is on the line and you blame it on the teacher, right, then I understand the frustration. But still, right, it ruins my vibe a little bit. So yeah, this vibe is like of underwhelm, of disappointment, etc., even more than in the past update. So in that sense, I feel a little bit, I don't feel super excited, for example, to go to class. But it's what I have to do. It's what I have to do, right? Also, I do feel like my environment in that sense, well, I'm going to talk about with that after. Next point, art/pastimes you'd like to learn or practice. In the past update, I said that, for example, I didn't have anything here. Like the main one was German, and it still is German, the main one. But now with the moving date here cleared up and kind of me realizing that I am moving there, I do feel a little bit like, yeah, I am going there, right? So I am thinking of like, what can I do with my free time, etc. Plus, I also think that the calculation of free time, I will see how this goes in the next update, but the calculation of how my free time goes, I feel like it can't be, like, it may be positive, because technically right now I only have 5 hours of class, but because I live so far away, I am spending 3 hours every day on the bus. And even though I do Anki, for example, I also watch a TV show, a Spanish TV show coming back, right? So it's not like fully taken advantage of. And I feel like I can take some of that into the daily activities that will take my time more. For example, cooking, cleaning, etc. Right? So I feel like the time balance and the way the day is structured could actually be a gain. I don't want to get my hopes up too much for that, but I feel like that could be like a factor, right? The way my day is structured with these commutes and the way it cuts into the day, right? I don't know. I feel like, and also how the environment will be and how I will have like more like more decision power on when do I eat, etc. and how do I organize these things. I feel like it could be positive in the time sense. So I am thinking of things of like how can I spend my time and how. I'm thinking mainly also about eating out, for example. Kind of this is a hobby and I count it as a hobby. Streaming, dealing with my video backlog, writing, kind of sitting down and writing, for example. But a couple of things that I wanted to mention maybe are singing, I'm getting a bicycle and those things, exploring the city in general and like walking around and like seeing tourist spots, like going through my places to go list, those things, right? I'm thinking of those kind of activities and pastimes. Also the book club that I mentioned before. And also, for example, technology, maybe buying old things. I don't have a lot of space for that, but I don't know, those things. How do you find the environment you live in right now? I would say nothing changed in respect of the other video. Well, I mentioned a particular anecdote, but yeah. Aside from that, nothing has really changed. I read here maybe a bit for the worse because of the vibe from class, right? So that is also part of my environment. At home, everything is more or less the same, I would say. But yeah, as I write here below, social now, right? So the way my social environment is now, aka the people in class, etc., is going to be my future home environment, right? So I'm thinking about that, and I'm not sure how to feel about it because of what I mentioned about it in the Munich trip. That I wasn't sure of how people dealt with things and how myself deals with these things. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm feeling hopeful about it. We'll see. And another thing that I wanted to mention that in the job employment situation is that I don't feel accepted by my environment in the school sense. For example, I feel like when I go to school and I arrive early, I shouldn't be punished for that. It seems like people are eating in my class, are like the personnel from the school is eating in my class. So it's like, why the fuck am I arriving early, like being diligent, not being late, right? And like also arriving to an institution of learning, which is like a language learning academy. And why the fuck can't I do homework? It's like I'm not even asking for the teacher themselves to be there, which could also be a positive, right? If the teacher arrived 15 minutes earlier or like 30 minutes earlier, I feel like, I don't know. I guess that you can't assume people will arrive earlier if they don't get paid, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like it could be a positive thing. And like, it's not like outrageous to expect that. But anyway. Yeah. I feel like I'm not, people don't even want me there to arrive early. So I am starting to arrive later. Not even late, but later. And I just do my homework at home before leaving in like 10 minutes or whatever, instead of doing them there. And which in my opinion is worse because it cuts like it. I have pauses and I have to take out my fucking iPad and then put it down. Right? It's like these small inconveniences, but if that's how they want it, fuck it. That's how it shall be, which is annoying. And also since I'm leaving in like 3 weeks, who gives a fuck, right? But yeah, I am annoyed about it's like it makes me feel again like they don't want me here, right? One of the reasons why I joined this thing is because if they are paying you to fucking become a trained driver, it's because they must really want you, right? That's kind of a drawing factor. If I'm getting the vibe that they don't even want me here, it's like, the fuck. But yeah, anyway, tangent. How do you feel about following your intuition lately? I don't know. I don't know what I mentioned in the other video, but in the other video I said something like so. Here I was going to say the same because also I don't feel great about following my intuition, but I don't know, some more eloquent answer could be something like, I have had lately with this trip, for example, with this Munich trip, etc., that maybe it's worse than I thought, right? That maybe my capacity of following my own intuitions are worse than I previously thought or that I could expect. Which maybe it's good because the first step is awareness, but also it's bad because it makes me realize that I have a lot of steps to go before actually, being comfortable with my level of following my own intuition. Right? Some examples. These classmates things that I mentioned, right? Some social situations where not problems necessarily in general, just in general, people talking, etc., and me not really knowing what to say, when to say it, right? Not feeling that kind of entirely comfortable with saying what I want, what I could want to say, right? This everywhere here, in class, in my family, in many environments, right? Like from idea in my head to communication execution, I don't like it. That's, I guess, why I'm streaming. Then, both, let's say, lost contact, right? Also, the steps from idea in my head to execution, I'm not satisfied with the way it goes in the lost contact realm, right? So people who I was friendly with, etc., but that I haven't talked in a while. I feel self-conscious and I don't know how to deal with this thing. And yeah, it's like, it's worse than I thought, right? I wasn't that aware of this. Or I had like my hopes up and I was like, I could think something like, oh yeah, I will reach out. But, or like I get these thoughts like, oh, I should do this, right? Or like, yeah, I'm going to, and then I don't do it. Or like, I write it down, I look at the note and I'm like, I'm not going to do it. So yeah, I don't know. In that sense, I feel worse about following my own intuition. But the realization could be a positive sign or maybe not. I don't know. I feel like at least I'm realizing it, but that's not enough, which sucks. Then, what really makes me happy? these questions are pretty, I think I'm going to answer them shortly because I don't think the answers changed too much and I don't have like any insights, I think. But I am excited about the coming future and seeing how it develops, right? With the move to a different city, change of environment, trying to get my feet down, Fuß fassen, mich im Leben, something like that. And ein neues Leben aufbauen. So yeah, in that sense, I am excited about it, but I wouldn't call it happiness, right? It's anticipation with hope, which can lead pretty easily to disappointment and depression. So we'll see, right? Hope not, like, but who really makes me happy? In this one, I have no change. Like, same with friends, family, and online people with all the steps, like people who are watching my stream or people who are who I read on Twitter and then I read their Substack articles, etc. Substack, I would say, is like a something that I feel like there's spark there, and yeah, like YouTube influencers, etc. YouTube celebrities, I would say still the same, right? I would say that I have had a podcast that I recorded with Brian, which was pretty neat, but I haven't read it yet, so I can't show who it is. Well, I could show. This is Brian's website. I made a podcast with him, and yeah, I would say that this is a nice moment, but I can't say like he really makes me happy or something like that, for example, because like it was just like one conversation, and I'm subscribed to their email, and I reply to the emails, etc. sometimes, but still, right? It's not like he has his life there in Montana, blah blah blah, and he's doing his stuff. I said Montana. I think it wasn't Montana, it was Georgia, if I recall correctly. Anyways, he has his life over there in the United States. I have my life over here, and like, yeah, it's, it's like, you get what I mean. Then, how is my health? I've passed the tests for a year or so. I'm cleared, right? More or less. I wouldn't say that I'm like super heavily worried about my results, etc., or like about taking care of my alimentation or my because I've passed the tests, right? So I think more or less if I keep being reasonable, eating reasonably, etc., and I don't go like too hard on the eating out part, and I keep the physical activity, etc., going, I feel like everything's going to be reasonably healthy, right? But the left ear not right now, but if I do this, my ear gets clogged, and yeah, I don't know. That worries me. When I run today, I went running, and it gets clogged, but only the left ear. So I don't know. That has me a little bit uneasy. Okay, that was it. I feel like if you want to watch the previous status update now, that could be a good time. So I'm linking that video there. I'm also linking to the playlist with all of my status updates. Why not? So yeah, goodbye.